channel. It's been a while and I'm sorry about that. As you've noticed, the setup is a little bit different, and that's because I moved home a couple of months ago. So that's one of the reasons why I've not been able to upload, and also because, quite frankly, honestly speaking, I have not really felt like it. But now that we're having this shitstorm of a pandemic that has taken over all of our lives and forced us all indoors, the motivation, either spawned by boredom or I don't know what, has returned for me to make content. I can't promise you the shape that this content will take because boredom is a killer, and I could basically be doing anything from makeup to, well, maybe not really makeup, but books and reading, Netflix, and any topic that takes my fancy. It could just be a daily vlog of how I'm coping indoors with the pandemic. I also might give you a tour of my new apartment and so on and so forth. So I look forward to going through this lockdown with you all. If you're not aware, I am based in the United Kingdom in Kent, which currently is in what is set to be one of the potential epicenters of this outbreak. I hope it isn't, because it's not funny, and I do know people that have contracted the virus and are not doing very, very well, and prayers up to those people. I hope you recover swiftly and smoothly. I also know people that are going through numerous health issues at the moment, and because of the NHS shutdown, might not be getting the best care that they need at the moment. And for those people, I hope that this storm rides out very quickly and you're able to get better soon. So my prayers are up for everybody who is going through this COVID-19 or COVID-19 in some way or another. And yeah, we'll get through it. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about what I've been watching recently. And I've just literally this afternoon finished a series called The Tiger King on Netflix. The Tiger King is a documentary on Netflix based in the United States of America. I think specifically in Oklahoma. Is it Oklahoma? I think so. But anyway, it's in the United States. And it chronicles a feud between a guy called Joe Exotic, aka the Tiger King, and a lady called Carol Baskin. So Joe Exotic is like a private zoo owner, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently you can just decide you want to own a zoo and run and operate a zoo where you keep tigers. And he had at one point over 200 tigers in his zoo, amongst other animals and other big cats. But he was basically primarily a cat breeder, a big cat breeder, which I think is illegal in the United States. So it's kind of like this really dark, seedy underground market, and there are very few players in it. And a lady called Carol Baskin, and Carol is meant to be like a conservationist. She is somebody that wants to try and keep big cats out of captivity in America and basically discourage these private zoos like Joe Exotic's zoo. And there are other people who own private zoos. There's a guy called Doc Antel, and there's some guy that is some kind of drug lord or former drug lord. This is like a real thing. And then there's like this other guy who just has like all these animals, exotic animals, chimpanzees, tigers, so on and so forth. They're just a mismatch of very eccentric, disturbed animal breeders. Even Carol Baskin it has a very disturbing story surrounding her. And basically, it's a story of murder, where, you know, some of them are accused of murdering people. Some of them are accused, like I said, of being a drug lord. Some are accused of just being con artists. Some are accused of being polygamists. So you have like a polygamist who has lots of wives, and a polygamist who is a homosexual guy with lots of husbands, or specifically 2 husbands. It's like crazy. When I was watching it, I did actually stop and pause and think to myself that, is this actually a real thing? I mean, is this one of those kind of like Only Ways Essex type of reality, not reality, scripted reality kind of shows? Or it's not even like a scripted reality show, but kind of like a show that is meant to present as a documentary but isn't actually real. The last time I watched something that threw me for a loop like that was when I watched Don't Fuck With Cats, which I will do a review on, because that was like watching a car accident. You were watching it, you can't take your eyes off, you know you shouldn't look, but you're kind of looking. And then you do the crazy thing of researching it at the end to make sure it's true. And that's what I did with this whole Tiger King situation. So it's Netflix, it's 6 episodes long. Each episode is quite long, they're about an hour each. So it's a bit of a commitment because it's 6 hours of programming, but we're all on lockdown anyway. What are you gonna do? So if you're looking for something that is really interesting, really intriguing, full of drama, full of suspense, quite funny in a dark humor kind of way. Well, funny because you laugh at things and you're thinking, I really shouldn't be laughing because this isn't funny because this happened to somebody. But then you think it's so ridiculous and it's so outrageously out there that you've got to laugh or cry. You know, at some point, somebody gets, you know, when this feud is going on, one of them tries to hire a hitman to kill off the other one, and ends up getting a shocking amount of time in prison. The way it kind of happened had me thinking, is this entrapment? Even though, you know, admittedly, this person did try to kill off the other person. I kid you not. It really is a shit show of crazy ass, unbelievable, Jerry Springer-esque foolishness. Because when you think about it, some of the stuff that's going on in there, it's hard to believe it's going on. I mean, at one point, Shaquille O'Neal, for crying out loud, was in there, having purchased 2 tigers from one of these tiger people. And I didn't even know that that was a thing you could do. I didn't know that you could be like a regular dude, even though some would argue Shaquille O'Neal is not a regular dude. But for all intents and purposes, is a human being that is not licensed, I would presume, I don't know, allegedly, to own endangered species. So apparently he has like 2 tigers. Who knew that was a thing you could do, that you can like go out and buy yourself 2 tigers, and they're not expensive. I mean, I was there kind of randomly because of my background, adding up the economics of this thing, and like, you know, a tiger cub is like, depending on how small they are, because obviously the smaller, the more expensive, because they do grow up to be quite big and they're quite, you know, expensive to feed. But like a tiger cub is like $3,000, and then up to $5,000, and then up to $3,000, and then to feed each tiger costs an average of, well, upwards of $70,000 a year. How many people are earning $70,000 a year that they can spend on just food? Not your rent or your mortgage, not your bills, not your car, not on clothing or all the other frivolities that we like in life, but just on food. It's insane. And then one guy has 200 something odd tigers, And he doesn't look like he's got a pot to piss in himself. He looks like he's not barely getting, you know, 1 square meal a day, let alone 3. So how is he feeding all these tigers? So it's very, very interesting to see how people that start off loving an animal can end up being captors that are actually quite cruel to the animal. And what blew my mind about the whole documentary is that you have less than 4,000 tigers in the wild, in the world. That's why they're an endangered species. And in America alone, you have 5 to 10,000 being bred for captivity. Does that even make any sense? Let me know your thoughts. I mean, I would love to know what you guys think. Please watch it, just so we can have a discussion about this crazy documentary. A documentary the likes of which I couldn't even have fathomed could come to fruition. And that's one of the things I love about Netflix. I've encountered so many crazy things that I wouldn't have fathomed were possible. So please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave your comments down below, because I would love to hear your thoughts about this documentary. Did you like it? Did you not? You know, the same old usual drill. So until next time, bye.